Okay, so just received these boards. These boards are for a new display and a new main board for the motorcycle. The current ones are still prototypes, so I figured I'd design some better ones and build them up. So here's the main board for the display. So the actual LCD goes on here, and you have your 3 push buttons and your ribbon cable connector and your backlight switch, and other than that, that's pretty well it. Then there's actually the front bezel for the display I made. This goes on top of this board, and basically just gives you a small space where the display pokes out, and your push buttons come through, and your backlight switch comes through, and that's about it. So it makes it more water resistant, and just makes it look nicer in the end. Next up is this one of these end boards for the main board. This board is the input side where you connect all your wires up to. So you have your ground, your ignition, your 12 volts constant, your run/charge switch, your main relay, your pre-charge relay, your charge relay, ground signal, and 5 volts for your current sensor. And so that's very straightforward. Everything's fully labeled on there, very easy to read and know what's going on there. Then here is the actual main board with the processor and the DC to DC converters on there, and various chips that read in signals. The analog to digital converter over here, and then we got the opto isolator here, and a couple fuses, and interesting driver circuit to drive the serial bus that I came up with. Then the last board is just another end panel for the main board, and so here's your 2 ribbon cable connectors. One is for the display, one is dedicated to the display, and then the other one is dedicated to reading in the remotes. So yeah, we're gonna do just a quick little fitment video here and see if these boards actually fit into the enclosures I intended. And then I'm going to be building them up, so you'll be able to see some soldering action. So let's go. Okay, so this is just a quick initial fit to the LCD. I just have the LCD screen sitting in the bottom board there, where it should be. Let's just see how the top kind of fits over here. Looks pretty sweet, and see if I can line up the push buttons here. Yeah, there we go. It should line up just about there. So that's what the display will look like when it's all done, when it's all said and done. And then this front bezel here, this actually just screws onto this box. So let's see if I lined up those holes good enough. This is a first time video here, so I have no idea if this is actually going to work or not as I intended, but that's the goal. Oh yeah, very nice fit. It's perfect actually. I just can't line it up here because I'm doing it with one hand. Yeah. Oh yeah, perfect. So there we go. So that's what it's going to look like. And so your 4 screws just go down into there, and then on the back side there's pads for pins that get soldered on there, and those pins go through corresponding holes on this board here. So it's looking like everything's lining up pretty nice. So I think I have a feeling this is going to be pretty sweet in the end. Okay, quick fitment of the main board. So I didn't even lop off these little nubs yet, and just kind of roughly fitting it in here. So there you can see these connectors here line up with the connectors on the actual main board on this edge board here. Here's the front panel of where you hook up all your wires. That fits right in there. So these boards basically replace the end panels for the enclosure, and they become the end panels. And then let's just try putting the top on here. So very roughly speaking, this is what it will look like in the end. You'll have your your legend and everything on the outside there, and that's about it. So that's how she works. So and of course, you know, that thing flies out. All right, so let's start soldering these babies up and see how far we get. Well, I figured I better show you one good close-up of these boards. They're very high quality boards. I got them from a company called OSH Park, which is based out of Oregon in the States. And they look top notch. It looks like they're gold plated. And they're all purple, by the way. I don't know if you can really tell that on camera. But they're purple. And they look very good. Onto the display bezel there. You can see the quality of the silk screen on there. And if I flip this board, let's flip the main board. There's the back. You can see the isolation barrier there for all the communications. Not too many traces on the bottom there. Then of course on the back of this there's just connections for pins. And same on the back of here, there's connections for pins there. And there's also some flyback diodes. Or freewheeling diodes, I guess you could call them as well, and some pads for MOSFETs and a couple resistors to pull down the gates of the MOSFETs. Then on the back of the display here, not a whole lot, just basically your connector goes there for your ribbon cable. That's about it. Alright, so let's solder these babies up. These are looking good. Alright, so I'm just soldering this 16 pin ribbon cable connector now. And there's actually not a whole lot left after this. It's pretty well just the LCD itself and the switches, and that's about it. And then I'm putting the front bezel on. So we're gonna find out pretty quick here if the front bezel fits the way I wanted it to. Alright, I haven't soldered the remaining components here, and I'm just going to test fit this front bezel here. It looks absolutely amazing right now. Hopefully everything will line up the way I intended. Alright, so here's the display board. I gotta say, I'm really impressed with myself. This looks really darn sweet. You got the backlight here on off. And you got your select and menu buttons, or your right up and down buttons. The display is really nice and flush mounted in there. And I haven't cleaned up the back or anything yet. It's still got solder flux residue all over it, but that'll come in a minute here. And so this whole unit just drops into this enclosure here. And there we go. And that's all there is to it. And then the 4 screws will go in the corner and hold that secure, and it should be fairly water resistant. And man, I gotta say, this thing looks really nice. So yeah, let's move on to that main board now and see how that goes. Okay, so I just skipped past most of it there for you. It's pretty standard fare stuff here. Just make sure whenever you're doing anything surface mount, you always want to be fluxing. Oh, I made a mistake there. You always want to be fluxing and using lots of flux, because of course with surface mount soldering you can't really get the flux that's inside of the solder to the part. It tends to boil off before you get your iron on the part, so make sure you use lots of additional flux. And then of course when you finish, always make sure to clean up all the solder residue. Me myself, I just use alcohol swabs, and I think those work pretty darn good. So in the end, it's all your personal preference. So there we go. That's all the discrete parts mostly. Now I'm going to do the 2 main chips, and then the rest of the stuff is all through hole. So yeah, let's do that next. Okay, so now I'm going to be doing the main processor here. So I'm just going to lay down a bit of flux. And yes, I put the part numbers right on the board. I don't like to leave any mystery out there. You know, for myself, when I'm building boards, it's pretty frustrating to me when the part isn't on there and I have to go look it up. So I always put the part numbers on there so I don't have to do any juggling or anything. So that's why you don't see any R1s or C1s or anything. I just put the value right on there. So it's dead simple. Alright, so that guy's placed. And now I just have to tack a pin. Get a nice good close-up of that. I'm actually looking through a magnifying lens right now with a circular fluorescent light around it, which is really nice. Not really necessary, but it definitely makes it a lot easier on the eyes, that's for sure. All the parts I tend to use 1206 parts, discrete parts. So yeah, they're not that small, but I mainly use them because, well, they're easy to solder, right? And there we go. Once you have 2 pins tacked and everything's lined up, you can pretty well just go around and solder each pin as you normally would. And one thing you have to be careful with really big ICs is don't get fooled into doing the whole thing at once, because it is actually possible to overheat it. This is a digital isolator. There we go. And away we go. As you can see, I solder in a lot of different ways, just to keep it interesting. Alright, so I got one more surface mount part over there. It's an LED, and that should be about it. Okay, green LED. Very straightforward. It's another 1206 sized part. Alright, so I'm just populating the last couple parts here. Pretty straightforward. I got these right angle connectors with right angle pins on them. And those slot in right here. And then there's one more for the other side, if I can find it. Here it is. That goes way over here. And that's it. Those are the last 3 parts. So I'm going to solder those up and then clean this baby up and she's done. Alright, so here's the finished board. I just bypassed most of the construction process there. So as you can see, it's got 2 fuses on it. Still have to put those in, but other than that, she's complete. So there you go, on to the end panels now. Those are the next thing to do. Alright, so here's what the end panel looks like with the connector on. Let's just toss this baby on here. There we go. And then you get your you have your pin designations with your legend there telling you what each one does. So it's really straightforward. And that's all there is to it. I'm going to solder this baby up and then clean it up and she'll be done. Okay, so here's the two main end panels and here's the main board, so I'll show you how they all go together. So this guy goes around like this, and these pins go like this. Sorry, I only have two hands here. So that plugs in like that. Then this one over here will plug in like so. There we go. And then this whole setup just goes right into the box here. There we go. It's not quite lined up yet. A bit tricky to get in there first try here. Give me 1 second. Need two hands for this. And there we go. So she sits in there like that, and then all you have to do is presto changeo, the cover goes on, and there we go. And that's what the finished BMS looks like. So it's just a solid unit, and you got your display, your remotes, and your legend on this side for your wire connections. That's about it.